I'm here with Kevin O'Connor, one of our faculty here at the American Association for Physician Leadership. We're having a faculty chat. We're talking about presentation skills and physicians. Hi, Kevin.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. Very good.
You teach a course here at the association on our distance learning platform called Present Like a Pro. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Present Like a Pro is an opportunity for people who don't normally present professionally to present in a really good way so that they create a memory for the people in the room. Sometimes we think people show up for our presentations because of our PowerPoint slides or our content. What they're really showing up for is an experience. They want an experience of learning. And the danger is, because of the way physicians have been trained, is they think, well, I just have to absorb this data and then I have to give it back. And that might be important, but it's probably not most important thing. The most important thing is, what is that audience member going to leave with? And if we put ourselves in that frame of mind, something very different happens. So the reason that we incorporate Present Like a Pro into, for example, the third day of the CPE, Certified Physician Executive Program, is not only because they have homework to do. They have an exam on the fourth day where they have to do an American Idol presentation in front of judges, but it's also to remind them that physician leaders are really going to be presenting more and more. And in the presentation, the audience decides whether you're credible or not.
So do you see it as kind of reteaching these physicians on how they learned in medical school?
Yeah, I think it's reteaching, but also having them remember their best teachers and the ones that really stood out for them as, whoa, that's something important. For example, I had a philosophy teacher that would teach, and when I was in college, I took all the courses I could from him. He was a terrific teacher. He was very exciting. He was excited. He's talking about Socrates, Aristotle, Plato. Spittle is coming out of his mouth. He's walking around. Files are falling out. But I mean, this guy was alive, right? And yet he was lecturing. So I mean, we weren't in small groups or anything like that. But he was so exciting. 19, 20 years old, we're getting excited with him. So I took all the courses I could from him. My wife took all the courses she could. He was a very exciting guy. So then 30, 40 years later, I'm on the same faculty with my best teacher at Loyola. I'm sitting next to him at a bbfaculty meeting, and you know, he's older, he's getting ready to retire, so you never know when these guys are going to kick, right? So I leaned over to him and I said, Dick, I just want to tell you, you were my best teacher. I loved your classes. I said, it was just so exciting to be in your class. I said, I hope someday I'm as good a teacher for other people as you were for me. And he turned to me and he gave me this kind of blank Parkinsonian kind of look, the no expression. Then all of a sudden his eyes light up and he said, well, Kev, when you got it, you got it. And I thought, yes, that's it. So what we want is to have the audience leaving, I get it. And that's something that the presenter is in charge of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest hurdle for physicians to overcome when, for instance, the CPE program, I know that they get very nervous about that presentation. Absolutely. What do you think is the biggest hurdle they overcome?
I think the biggest hurdle is they are thinking too much about themselves and about memorizing their philosophy of leadership instead of thinking about the people that I'm speaking to could benefit from what I'm about to say. Because even though they're there to kind of evaluate you and be an audience for you, and it's a little artificial because you're talking to one or two or three people, instead of thinking about what do I have to memorize, you might even think about what's the gift that I could give this person today, that when I walk out of the room, they're going to say, that was a good, I get it, that was a good presentation, I understand. And I think when you shift your focus to the other person, you're doing the exact same thing that a physician learns in residency and in medical school, which is the patient. But I think if we think that it's about me and I got to be perfect and oh my gosh, what's going to happen, then I think we put this undue pressure on us. Because you know, physicians are big on exams, right? They're always having to take exams, and they've been taking exams their whole life, and they want to get an A and they want to be good and all that sort of stuff. And when you're taking an exam, you are focused on yourself and content. You don't have to focus too much on somebody else. Of course, when you're having the intimate moment in a clinical experience with a patient or their family, you're automatically other-centered. Concerned about the patient, how you doing, what are your vital signs. The exact same thing can happen in the boardroom. How do I get what they need? And I think one way you do that is you call them a couple days before the presentation, say, what do you most want to hear? I'm giving a talk in 2 days. They'll tell you, even Dr. Evil will tell you, because there's always a Dr. Evil that
Always
shows
a Dr.
up.
Evil.
And, they'll say, I love you, but I have no idea how you're going to pay for this thing. Well, now you know how you're going to start your presentation. You're going to start with money. And then inside of Dr. Evil, even if Dr. Evil doesn't change their expression, they're going to say, good, they listened to me. And as soon as they say that, you have a buddy in the audience. And that's what you want. So now instead of them sitting there going, what's this all about? They're leaning forward saying, this is something that's important to me. That's what we want to do, is figure out, how do I make this important to them?
All right, well, thank you very much, Kevin.
You're very welcome.
It was a pleasure speaking with you today.
Thank you.
I'm Tricia Barnes, and we would like to thank Kevin O'Connor for speaking with us today about physicians and presentation skills. If you would like more information, please visit our website, physicianleaders.org.